Hey everybody, how's it going today? Today we're just going to look at a couple figures. I went to Ollie's yesterday and picked up a couple cool Star Wars figures. Thought I'd show them to you. This is the re-release of the Grand Moff Tarkin, what they call the Archive Wave. Now the first one they put out was pretty good. Apparently they did some different paint, different head sculpts, and tidied them up a bit. Looks a lot better in some opinions. So we're just gonna take a look at this guy today. So you can see I got him at Ollie's for $9.99. If you got an Ollie's near you, it's a great place to go figure hunting. You never know what you're gonna find. Pretty cool pick on the back. Some of these new packaging, I don't know what they're doing with all the, I guess they have to by law because it's Disney, put all kinds of multilingual stuff on there, but I don't see the point of it. Anyway, it's got a pretty cool pic of him on the back, and you see that's the boxed Black Series that they originally did of him. So let's get him out of there. Comes with the interrogation droid. So let's look at this guy first. He doesn't come with a blaster or anything, which is fine. Tarkin never had a blaster, but odd that they don't pack one in like they do with every other Imperial officer. And I really like this droid. It's got some fun gadgets and stuff on it. It's got the little stand to make it looks like it's floating around. If I can get it to stand up, there we go. It's pretty cool looking. Fun fact, what they made this out of in A New Hope in 1977 was these were two astromech domes that they just stuck together and painted and put a bunch of gizmos and such on it. In fact, if you look at the an older version, it's probably, I think it's been kind of scratched out or edited a little bit in the modern Blu-ray or Disney Plus version, but back in the day, if you had the old VHS or what have you, you could look at this thing here, which is like a, I don't know, I don't remember what you called it, but you could see some English writing on it, which later they, determined that's a no-no in Star Wars. We have Arabish, we have our own language that appeared in Return of the Jedi for the first time. So, we'll put this dude here. And Grand Moff Tarkin. What a good-looking fellow, played by Peter Cushing, who was reportedly sad that his character perished at the end of New Hope. Spoilers. Because he wanted to go on playing this guy. And if you look, he looks good. Yep. Dead ringer for Peter Cushing, tell you that. I like how they did the rank is very detailed, his code cylinders. Good looking figure for sure. And let's see. This is a prior release. Not too different, but if you don't have one, definitely get this one. This is definitely the better of the two, if only by slightly. And you can see the uniform is the same. I think maybe his uniform is a little bit lighter. It's a little more gray, I think, if you can't really tell in my little picture here. Yeah, they're not too different. Just a slight upgrade is all you need, though. But yeah, there he is, Grand Moff Tarkin. And we'll do a couple quick comparisons. This is him next to the first ever Grand Moff Tarkin figure they did, the Power of the Force, from, I want to say, 1996 or 7, maybe 5, I don't know. And there's one they did from Revenge of the Sith, which, you know, doesn't really count here because it was different uniform, different actor, just so you're aware. And let's see, I know there's a couple other Tarkin variations that I don't have handy, but this was the one that, the vintage one that came out a couple of years ago. I think he came with the Escape from the Death Star game that I just literally did not care about. I just bought for the Tarkin figure, just to have one in my vintage collection, because they never made one back in the day, which I thought that was weird. They made the Death Star Trooper, or actually Death Squad Commander, but that's a video for another day. So, alright, so that's those guys. And again, Tarkin, he's got all the articulation you would expect from a Black Series figure. Plenty of videos that go over that. I'm not going to hit on that too hard. You get the drift. He's got the they call this the plastic skirt, which I think is fine. I always have them standing up like this, so you know, if you ever had a desire to make Tarkin sit, that would be another story. But I definitely there was a version they did, and I have it. I don't have it handy, but there was a 3 3/4 scale Tarkin they did with a slightly greener uniform. If you don't know, the uniform is technically gray-green. It's like a greenish gray or grayish green that loves to show up gray everywhere. But that particular figure looked really green, and he had a soft goods skirt right here, which just didn't look good. Anyway, all right, Grand Moff Tarkin. So we're also going to look at, what else did we get? We got a few things. Let you hover out of the way here, buddy. All right, the 50th anniversary Lucasfilm, the Return of the Jedi Princess Leia on Endor. Picked her up for a staggering $4, which I was like, okay, twist my arm. Really nice packaging. I almost hate to open this, but it's gonna happen. Because I actually have 2, so I can do that. And what we got on the back there? Also have Paploo and the AT-ST Dragon, which, fun fact, those are not suspenders he's wearing. That is the seat belt to the AT-ST. Just to let some of y'all know. And again, like I said with Tarkin, there is this whole card back is way too wordy. We don't need any of this. Absolutely none of this is a description of the figure. It has very little to do with Star Wars. I guess they just have to put that on there by law. I don't know. Oh, I know. I just play with these things. And they have the Kenner logo on there, which Hasbro bought Kenner back in early 90s. I forget exactly when, but you know, first thing they did was, oh, all right, do Star Wars figures. So that gives them the right to put Kenner on everything now, even though it's Hasbro, which is cool. Okay, so, and quick thing before I open this up, I like the little detail here where they put her hat or her helmet up there in a little separate compartment from the bubble that she's in. That was kind of a cool touch, you know. If you're leaving these figures carded, much better way to display the helmet than just kind of rolling around at the bottom or on her head or what have you. So we'll go ahead and tear into the package. little helmet out of there. And I think Leia was probably the first figure that ever had a removable helmet. And her Bosch disguise, and in this figure originally. So she is a teeny tiny little lady, which is accurate. Carrie Fisher was not the tallest woman in the world, which is fine. And some of these vintage collection figures, right out of the box, you want to be careful with them because they're so detailed and articulated that you might accidentally move them the wrong way, pull their arm off, and I hate when that happens. Some people will really go out of their way to, heat gun them up and everything before they mess with them. I don't want to do all that. I'm just gonna be careful and hope for the best. But the detail on her uniform is really nice. I think this is the most accurate we've gotten. I don't know about her face sculpt. Let's get in a little closer. What do you guys think? Better than the vintage version, but I think there's been some better Leias. What do you guys think? So, and she has her helmet. It fits on her head. It looks very good. A lot of times when you have a separate helmet that you put on a character, it's not molded onto them. Just looks so wacky, but it fits her head pretty snug. I like that. And she's got her trademark blaster, which I believe is not the one she actually had on Endor. This looks like her blaster she had in A New Hope when she shoots that stormtrooper in the face. But I'm sure it fits in her holster, where I will probably leave it. So, and all of her poncho belt comes off, which I'm not going to do that. Put her, see how she stands up. Which my table is not super flat, so sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. And there is Leia. And I also have the version of her that they did before this one. Just regular vintage collection. Forgive me, I can't remember if it was some other name or whatever. But basically the same figure. Different head, different colors. Ironically has more accurate boots because Leia had that little tan sole on her boots. They just went with black. And, but I believe her poncho is much more accurate, along with her holster and her belt. And the helmet, of course. This helmet doesn't look good. I don't know what they were doing with this helmet or this poncho. It's all like mud. And as like I was talking about, like helmets fitting figures' heads, you can see this helmet looks crazy big on her head. And she was kind of surprised or pissed off. Like, yeah, you walked away from me, knucklehead. Let's compare them. Yeah, new one definitely looks better. I wouldn't confuse either one for Carrie Fisher if I saw him in person, I don't think, but as for an action figure this size, I think it looks very good. For some reason they don't always do too great on their female sculpts. I don't know why. Their helmets over here for now. Here is the, move over a little bit. Here's the vintage 1983 Princess Leia in her Endor getup. And like I said, she had one of the first figures to have a removable helmet. And I think for back in the day, looks pretty good. So, compare the two. I think they really did a good job on this figure for 1983. Yep, there they are. Of course, this one's going to be painted more accurately. And, you know, her head has less detail because it has to fit in the helmet, which they were new to doing at the time. So, alright, Princess Leia. And I also have the Black Series. That is the new Black Series figure of her. And I actually bought two because we all know that if you take off her poncho and her helmet, it's essentially another character. So that's, oops. And that's her with her Black Series sister in the 6-inch scale. So, who else did I get? Let's see. Also picked up a couple Rebel soldiers in the Echo Base battle gear from Empire Strikes Back on Battle of Hoth. And really good looking figure. I thought I'd already had one of these. I don't know if I opened it up and forgot what I did with it or whatever, but kind of glad I picked this up. So now I have one. And usual gibberish on the back. You can see he came in a larger wave, and you'll be familiar with this figure right here because there's still 20 to 30 of him at any given day at any Walmart or Target. So if you ever need one of these right here, yeah, they're available. But here's our man right here, and looks good. I'm glad they've tried to do this iteration of this particular character before to some degree of success, but I think this one turned out good. And he does come with his blaster, and you know, for those that forget, there's a difference between the Rebel soldiers who were walking around on the inside of the base and the ones that were on the outside of the base. Because on the outside, they probably had more cold weather gear, because they actually were outside in the snow, and it was probably really cold. But anyway, that's another comparison to do. And let's get to it. Get on out of there. Get his gun out. And he's got the standard Rebel DH-17, which a lot of the ones on Hoth had they look slightly different than the Rebel Fleet Troopers in A New Hope. And get out of here. Oops. And as you can see, the goggles are removable as they're trying to come off as I'm pulling them out. Make sure you don't lose those. And yeah, good looking figure there. Just a quick comparison. I know I have the other probably half dozen or so versions of this guy, but the one I had handy was the vintage one from 1980, I want to say. And they look pretty good together. I think that's a good update. You know, back in the day, it was kind of hard to get details right. It's actually funny, I'd forgotten until just now that the version I have, another child had colored him in purple on the back of his belt for some reason. But anyway, that's another story. This is this guy. And you can put his goggles, I believe, if you take his head off. And can you get them on? Maybe you can wear them. Maybe over this way. Yeah, there we go. And now he's all goggled up. I could probably do a better job of putting that on there, actually. But you get the drift. Comes with goggles. Get that off now. And I believe Hasbro Pulse did a multi-pack of this fella with different head sculpts. You could army build 4 or 5 of them, which I think is cool. And he has a lot of articulation because he is a vintage figure, or a vintage collection figure rather. And his gun does fit in his holster, which is always a feature I appreciate on figures. Alright. And there he is. And there he is next to Leia. Like I said, she is a teeny little gal, and the figure does a good job of representing that. Alright, so that's about it. I'm just gonna show a couple other figures I got. Not at Ollie's, they just happen to show up from Amazon. Gaming Greats Darth Malak. The packaging that, you know, I'm not a fan of, but I don't care about packaged things anyway. And I also got Bastilia Shaw, and they are both from the Knights of the Old Republic video game. If I'm wrong, correct me. I never played those. I was kind of just getting out of video games when that came out. But I have not opened these yet, so let's tear into one. What do you say? Okay, it's not too difficult. Saving plastic. They're damn sure wasting cardboard. And he comes in his little how to dispose of a body kit there. Go ahead and get this lightsaber out of the way, because that's definitely going to get lost or torn up if I'm not careful. I also just got a bunch of G.I. Joes recently that kind of came in the same kind of thing. Just pull out his little paper, like you would wrap a tail in or something. And yeah, at least they're trying. Oh, he just went to get a haircut and a shave. It looks like get the whole thing wrapped around in here. Get that off. Okay, first thing I notice is this dude has some Frankenstein boots, doesn't he? Jeez. Alright, so there he is. Malak. I believe that's how you say that. And again, forgive me, I was not super familiar with these guys, but damn sure looks cool. He's got a little lightsaber holster there. Let me see. I think there's even. I think he wears this weird thing under his nose, over his chin, because he is missing part of his face, which, you know, I'll mess with that later. It's not okay. But there he is. He looks good. My first impression is that he is nice and solid. Stands up fine on his own. A lot of times you pull these figures out right out of the box and they're just like, Oop. But no, this guy's big old Frankenstein boots is holding in place pretty good. And give him his lightsaber, which pretty cool. Definitely a unique design. Hopefully we'll be getting those two characters with the orange lightsaber soon. There he is. I like him. I don't know a lot about him, but I do like him. Looks cool. Darth Malak. Alright, so we're gonna do one more, and that should be good for today. Old Bastille Duchamp. I believe she is the hero of the game, which kind of very reminiscent of Rey, if I'm honest. I don't know if they drew any inspiration from her or for that character, but I don't know. Y'all probably know better than me. I just destroy these boxes because I don't care enough people. One thing about these blind boxes is you never quite know what you're going to get, but luckily for me, I haven't had any crazy things where I opened it up and it's the wrong figure or they're missing stuff. So I just noticed how it says Star Wars, and that's kind of cool. Sure that's where our extra $5 a figure is going to. Print that on fruit wrapping paper. She comes out of her body bag nicely. A little piece of cardboard to keep her hair squared away. And yeah, the color of her outfit really looks nice. Do a little bit of straightening out on her feet just so she'll stand up. Alright, stand up, baby. You can do it. Alright. And one thing I do like, let me show you real quick. Lightsaber's wrapped up in this nice thing, like you would get a toothbrush from the dentist. Wrapped up in. And she has a yellow lightsaber. I wonder who else has one. Can I get it out of here without tearing it up? Maybe. And looks cool. It's got a little bit of shine to the metal part. And that comes out so she can hold it like it's turned off. And she can hold it like this so she can go get jiggy with Darth Maul. So yeah, Bastille Duchamp. I'm not really sure what this character looks like exactly, but sculpt looks good, detail looks good. I dig it. Bastille Duchamp. Alright. Here she is next to Darth Mallet. And there they are. And just for Death Stars and giggles, we'll put them next to Grand Moff Tarkin. So, there they are. And that's about it. So, hope you guys dug this video. If not, let me know. If so, let me know. No matter what, have a good one. And go to Ollie's, because they probably have some figures you want. Alright guys, we'll see ya. Peace.